So import format will be different from different types of there. I mean like delimited or fixed width and multi-period. We can see what is fixed and what is delimited and what is multi-period. So we have created yesterday one of the import format. Once we create this import format, then we need to attach this one into location as well, right? We need to attach this import format into a location. Okay, before going to attach into location, just let us know, what is the file type delimited or the fixed, what exactly it is, we can see. So import formats will be two types that I said, like fixed width and delimited. So normally we never get the fixed width file formats. We always preferred and we always get delimited file formats only. Fixed width file formats will be looking like this. This is like a trial balance format. Debits and credits or debits only, credits only will be having in the file of a trial balance format. Whereas we can see the delimited file which we have seen, right? So the delimited file will be always delimited by using some values. So if you can say India GL CSV file, this is data file which is having some data and it is being delimited by the comma operator. Here it is having account information and here it is description and here it is amount. Okay, likewise you can have multiple columns also based on your requirement. You will be having like different dimension members also, dimension members also for delimiting the values. That is like delimited, but you can do with the commas operator or semicolon or something, anything that you can use for delimiter over there. And whereas fixed width is nothing but we can't change the format itself. It should be the same format for every time. That's the fixed width format. This is delimited only. Yeah, here you can see. So here this is one of the file format. This file format is nothing but in the fixed width format. You will be always having the data in terms of debit, in terms of credit, and this will be starting with the starting character to ending character. This will be reading the file with the starting character to ending character. Whereas with delimited, you can reading the data with a field, and that is nothing but a column wise. You are reading the file. But whereas fixed width, it will be reading the data by using the column, starting number to ending number wise. Let us see how it is going to be happen. So let us create one more import format fixed width. So ERP source type is nothing but file only, and here I am going to take fixed width target. You can take any application there. So if you can see here itself, here start and length here we are getting. When you take the file format which is like delimited, there itself you can see the field number. That's what I'm saying. I mean like a delimited will be using the fixed column names, whereas fixed width will be having the data about your start number and number of characters length. That will be represented. Sorry. So that will be represented your total information about your column wise. So fixed width will be starting from the starting character and number of characters it will be taking. So here if you can see, if fixed, this fixed format will be taking like starting character and number of characters in that will be represented. See examples here. This is file format for fixed width. This is the file format for delimited. Let us see the examples. And multi-period I will explain later on. That is like I will explain just feature what it is exactly. So here we are having multi-period also, right? This multi-period, let me create the multi-period input format also. Input format. So multi-period will be using like you can load the data. I mean you can start the data loading. I mean we are doing now for one period, either January, February, or March that you are doing. But I have one more scenario like budget scenario. I have like other forecast scenario that I have data. Okay, but I want to load the data January through April or January through March. Like January, February, March, January, February, March, April, January, February, March, April, May. Likewise, 4 periods or 5 periods that you would like to load the data for a continuation periods or jumbling periods also. I mean, like period by period also. You want to load the data. For that also, we will be having like create. You can manage the data load by using the multi-period. Whereas fixed width or delimited files, we can load the data for a single period only. But whereas by using the multi-period, you can load the data for a multi-period, I mean multiple periods at a time. So like you can load January, February, March at a time you can load. That is the feasibility, that is the use of file type is multi-period. We can see that one also exercise. But here you need to know what is the differences between the among these three. If your source type is file format. So you are saying this one. So here you can see fixed width. So fixed width format, just I am going to give the examples how we are going to describing the things. So here in this example, what we are trying to say is account description. Start character is 18th and length is 24. That means in this example, if you can see this example, if you can see in this example, 18th character. So you can count from here itself 18th. Say for example, here is the 18th. And then the length would be 24. That means the 24 characters length it would be 18. So that total length and characters will be considered as a one account description, and 1 to 15 that itself will be describing as a account. 19 to 19 it will be considered as total amount, but here we are having some expressions are there. So if you can see here, we are having some expressions. Those are we are calling them as like import scripts or import scripts only. So these import scripts we will be having different types of import scripts that we are having, and these are all the imports functions. Like functions also. Again, these are the expression functions. In this you can use the scripts also. These scripts we are calling them as import scripts. I will let you know the import scripts. Prior to that, you need to check the expressions. What are the expressions that we are having defaultly, and what is the use of that? We'll see that one. So these import scripts or these expressions will be useful. Import scripts and these add expression functions will be available only if the source is file format only, not for others. Okay, please remember this point. So these functions, whatever the functions or whatever the properties that we are going to see, those properties will be available only for if the source is file format only. So let us see this example. I have the file called, this is the total file I have. So file like fixed width. But normally fixed width we never get the fixed width file format. We always get delimited file formats only. Fixed width file formats we never get, but we should have some idea about it. That's what I'm explaining here. You can see here itself. That is from starting to ending. These are the total number of characters that we will be taking up. So first character to 15th character that I am saying it is account, and amount 19th. It starts from 19th and number of characters are 19 characters. It will be taking as the amount. And a custom 3 and custom 4, these are all like hard coded values. If you are giving expression and you are not saying any start and end length, this will be taking as the hard coded values. All custom 3 members will be taking as the double zeros. All custom 4 members will be taking as the double zeros. All entity will be taking as the center only. I mean, the thing is like here, if you are not defining anything, or if you are not giving any start and end length characters, if you are giving only simply one number one character over there and you are giving some expressions over there, that means that value will be repeatedly, mean like that value will be the same for all the data. That means entity is center. This is like a center data for all the combinations of data which we are trying to import. Okay. So delimited input formats. So whereas delimited input formats will be using like what is the delimiter over there that we have given over there, and here you need to tell which field, I mean like field in the sense column, which column is which dimension. So account is first one and amount is third column, and custom 3. See here itself also fixed with here it's delimited also. You need to say one and hard coded values that you need to give. Custom 4 you need to give the hard coded values. Department none. That is like hard coded value every time it will be coming. An entity NC. Entity is NC means that is what is the no correlina is the entity, that is the entity data we are getting. So we are giving the hard coded values. The values will never change. So whatever the source will be, these expressions nothing but representing your source values. Custom 3 always data will comes up double zero. Custom 4 always comes up 0. Department data that always comes up none. Entity data always comes up like NC. So the source data which we are getting, which we are fetching, all the data will be the hard coded values that will be repeated for all the records. For 1000 records are there. For 1000 records custom 3 would be double zero. For 1000 records department would be none. For 1000 records entity would be NC. Likewise, we will be getting the data from our source system. Okay. Multi-period data load I will explain later on. I will show you the practical way. So we'll see this one, fields expression functions one by one. Multi-period format I will explain later on. So here we can see one by one. See examples like expression functions are there, right? These expression functions how we are going to use, I am going to explain them. So here we are having some skip lines. One of the format is skip lines in import files. If it is a fixed width file format, and cache and cache equivalents are the subtotal again, right? These are the detailed information and this is the summarized information. I can say subtotal also, I can say. I don't want to take the data twice into the twice into the application. This is one line item and this is one line item, right? I don't want to take both of them into the consideration. I want to skip the subtotals value. I want to skip the subtotals value. Then what we have to do is we need to have the function called as skip line functions. That is skip function is there. So that skip function you need to tell like a start character and the number of length. So I can say 43 characters. 43 characters mean the start with 43 characters and whatever the lines that you want to skip, you can keep it as skip function. So skip rows that contains a column in column 3. Column 43, and number of characters that I said like 1, and what is the expression over there, colon. So in the 43 column, if it is identifying the colon, if that is identifying the colon only itself, then it will be automatically skipping the row. That row itself will be skipping, and it will not be considered into the data loading process. Okay, skip is the keyword or function, key function, keyword and the key function will be using to skip the line itself. And next one is concatenating. So concatenating is nothing but like adding the source columns into so different way. I mean, like if we want to change the source columns into different way, then we can use that one. Concatenating fields. So if you can see here, the data which is coming from my account number is like hyphens, and two characters and four characters. It is delimited with the hyphen. So, but I want to concatenate them into a different manner and in different way. I don't want to take same as source. I would like to change something different which is coming from my source. Because of this is the format that I have in mappings. I will let you know the mappings later on, but I would like to import the data in a different manner. Okay, then what should we do is, see here it's account start with 7 and 4. So start with 7, and the character would be, total length would be 4. Start with 7 in the sense 3, 3, 6, 100 hyphen to 6. So again it is like total is taking as 6. 6th is the starting character. Sixth means this is 7th is the starting character. These three completed, 6, and this is 7th. So number of characters 6210 are the first column, and second column will be concatenating with the hyphen 11 hard coded value that we have given, and account again that we are giving the 4 comma 2. 4 comma 2 in the sense these are the two characters will be the third column. So all of them will be giving the result as 6210-60, because of we are giving the expressions all of them with target is account only. Okay, if you want to concatenate not only for fixed width, you want to go with fixed width for delimited file also, you can do the same exercise. If you want to have like the characters are more and you want to do with the concatenation, there itself we can concatenate with the fields only. It's not like a start characters and end length, because of fixed width will be having based on the field number. So you can concatenate the data by using the field itself only. Okay. Now going to another. Add import expressions. Add import expressions. So what is the import expressions? Here you are having data 46th character started, and number of length, number of characters are 31 characters. In the total it is having like a data amount field there. Total is amount field which is having like debit and credit values. So I would like to split the total 31 characters length, 16 characters into 16 characters, that I would like to split into a debit and credit values. See in this example, if you can see, this is like total amount field, right? This is total amount field. This is like debit and credit values, that is having like 31 characters. I would like to split this value into debit and this value into credit. So we are having the feature in our application, directly it will be taking the debit and credit split also as well. If your file is fixed with delimited, there is a expression type is DRCR split, debit and credit split. So you can see DRCR split, and you can say some 16 or something that you can give. If you are giving like that, then it will be automatically dividing, splitting the total field into a debit columns and credit columns. So first column will be taking, you can ask what is debit and what is credit. First column will be taking as debit and second column it would be taking as a credit value. So another one is sign conversions. Sign conversions. The amount which is coming from your source is like a minus values or something that you are getting as a minus value that you would like to change into a different conversion, different signage, a different signage that you want to load the data into the application. At that moment you can change that signage. Here if you can see this example, signage is DRCR 10,000 credit becomes minus 10,000. Mean that like whenever you want to load the data which is coming positive and you would like to load in a negative manner, then you can use the credit values directly. So source data would be 10,000 credit and you are loading that value into a minus 10,000. Okay, imported is minus 10,000. So simply what I am trying to say here itself is, if you are having any debit or amount credit signage that you want to change, then you can simply use the sign option to change the data over there. Negative data will be loaded. Okay. Same example which we discussed in the previous, like DRCR split, and you are saying like 16 characters over there, and this value will be loaded and this value will be loaded into independently. See here itself debit value, whereas credit values will be having the value it's minus. Okay, because of credit value here itself showing as positive, but while loading the data into application we are loading as a negative signage. Credit is always nothing but a negative signage. Here we are having some other functions like fill and fill euro to US expressions. See here we are having like FILL, FIL, L caps one. Okay, we can see that. So we have seen like DRCR split and signage only. Now we are going to see FILL and FILL capital L. Okay. So what is the use of these scripts or these functions or these expressions? So here you can see first FILL. So what is the use of that one is, if you can see your source account is coming like hyphen, and some of the characters are having try values and some of them are not having the values over there. Just it is giving hyphen only. It is not been completed, incomplete the value. So for that what we need to do is we can use the FILL function and you can give number of characters over there. So let us see here. So here I am giving like 3 to 10, total 10 characters would be your account. Okay. So I am giving like FILL. So total characters in zeros. So that means total 10 zeros. So while importing the data, if nothing is there after hyphen, that will be fulfilled with all zero values. That will be fulfilled with zero values. In the same way, if you can see Euro to US to format the data. Euro to US to format the data. So if you can see the data which is having like 96.41, 757.08, instead of that there is a data will be showing in a comma, right? The data which is separated with a comma. So euro values always been separated with comma, decimal values will be separated with comma. So now how we are going to format that one? FILL euro to US, that you are saying euro to US. That means the value which is there itself will be formatted to the US format only. So if you can see the results here, the value which is not having after hyphen, that will be trailing up with the triple zeros, because of you are giving the number of characters. Based on the number of characters, it will be trailing up the values. And whereas fill euro to years, that will be giving the values with decimal places. The decimal places, because of the euro format is different and US format is different. If you would like to go for US format, then definitely you will be having the, you need to change that into euro to US. This is only happen when you are getting the data from European countries itself only. Okay, that to delimited file format. I mean that fixed width. If you are going for delimited, we don't have this issue. They are sending in delimited, I mean fixed width, then you need to change the format into euro to US by using the FILL function. Adding fields with leading characters. See what it is meaning is, so in previous trailing the characters, FILL, we are trailing the characters, FILL function. But here this is FILL and capital L, leading the characters. In previous is trailing the characters, now it's leading the characters. So that means leading the characters in the sense, initially you will be adding the characters. In previous we are added up at the end of the at the end of the characters. Okay, now we are adding prefix, not the last value. You are adding the prefix values. Okay, so here if you can see, we are giving the number of characters over there, how many characters that you want to add up. So you can see here itself, you can add like triple zeros and double 10. So the number of characters that you are giving over here is triple zero and something. Then it will be adding up all the triple zeros initially itself only. Starting characters only, it will be added up. Another one is factor. Another expression is factor, multiplying source amount. So you are having source amount, but you want to multiply while importing the data into the application, I mean FDME. Thereafter you can load into target. But while importing the data itself only, you want to multiply, then you can add factor function for amount field, and you can give the how you want to multiply. The factor will be automatically multiplied the values. Disabling the zero suppressions. Disabling the zero suppressions. So here itself you will be getting New Zealand, I mean like New Zealand or any other countries, some other countries you will be getting the data. It's like I mean like without having the 0.00 or 0.00 something will be coming like that. But you want to disabling the zero suppression, just you will be, I mean like you will be adding some NZP. NZP is the function, if you can add up, includes the zero data. So whatever the zero values that you are getting in source data, that import is also having the 0000, I mean like zero values into the FDM application to load into target. But always we are not going to prefer to load the zero values into target application. HFM does not use the HFM, does not use the, shouldn't use the zero values. If you load the zero values, definitely you will be having the garbage values while calculating the data itself. If it is going to, something is multiplied with 0, it should be 0. And something divided by 0, it's infinity. So those are not valid values. So always you need to avoid to load the 0 values into HFM application. That will be impact while doing the calculations. So order of amount field. Amount field is the field where we can use the total these functions. What is the order? DRCR split, field, script, sign, factor, and NZP. Okay. Orders to other fields. Mean like other field in the sense account, entity, those fields we can use the script, first one, fill and FIL. These are the two functions we will be using. Amount field only itself is having all the information, Mean like signage we can change at amount field only. Factor multiplying we can do at amount field only. SZP we can do the zero values in amount field only. DRCR split we can do for amount field only. FIL euro to US is also the format change also we can do for amount field only. Not for other fields it is not available. If you can observe for other fields it will not be available. Only amount field is having those values. For if you go for other dimensions, you will be seeing only FILL script only. Only those characters, mean like those fields are available only if your field is amount field only. Then only you will be having all the options. So this is the import format that we are having. So any questions on import format? Till now what we discussed for delimited or fixed width file formats. Is there any questions on that? Otherwise we can move to next one. Locations, how to create the locations. We can see the location creation. Okay, now moving on to the location. So here we will be creating the locations based on the import format which we are using. Create one more location here. Okay, import format. So why we have created and why we discussed about the import format is while creating the location you should give the mandatory field. Mandatory field, if you observe over there, the mandatory field is import format. You need to have the import format, and which we created the import format. You can take any one of them import format over there. It will be calling your source and calling your target application. So here we are having some different fields are there. We can explain. I will be discussing about them later on. But data value is nothing but it's a value dimension in your HFM application. So you can see all the value dimension number from your HFM application. So as I said, HFM application will be taking the base value as entity currency. That means the base numbers are nothing but entity currency only, that it will be taking the values. Okay. So here you can see entity currency. Entity currency is the number that you need to take the number for data value which is being loaded the data into a HFM application. Okay. So that's what we had taken the value as entity currency. Fine. Then your integration options is nothing but we will be using at the scripting time. Not now, it's not required. Location that you have created. Okay. So you have created one of the location as VT location, and you have created your locations, and you have created your import formats. Thereafter, another important one is import, and this one is location is ready. Then your location is ready, and your import format, the source file, how it is coming, you are saying the data, the dimensions, how you are getting, you have explained to the system. Fine. Then the next step would be mappings. You are saying your dimensional mapping is fine, and your import format is fine, and your location is fine. Thereafter, what we require, we should have some mappings like period mapping, category mapping, and dimensional mapping. These are all dimensional mappings, I can say. Period mapping and category mapping, and thereafter data load mapping. We'll see one by one. So first I am going with period mapping. Period mapping, if you can see global mappings, application mappings, and source mappings. What about these three? Global mappings is nothing but if you can give the mappings, it will be applicable for all the applications, all the source, and everything that is applicable. But the thing is, all applications may be maintained the same format or may not be maintained the same format. At that time, you can go and give application specific mappings also. Application specific mappings also by taking the global mappings. So okay, what about global mappings and all? So how we can give the period mappings? See here, this is like October period that we had given. Now I am going to give for September period. We need to give the September period would be period key, and prior period key is nothing but August. Prior period is nothing but August. And period name, what is the period name for that? That is like September. And target period month is 9, and target period year is 2016, and year target is 2016. So I have given the period mapping for this one. October is this recent current year, and prior period is September. Likewise, you need to provide all the mappings for period mappings for all periods for each year. 7 31st 2016 is August, and 18 target year is the 2016, target period year is 2016. Okay, so likewise you can do the period mappings. Okay, how many year mappings that you want to go for each year, that you need to define from period mapping. If you want to go for the application mapping, just see for example BHFM is the application. I want to do some mappings over here. Just simply you can take one of the application global mappings, and is there any change in the period name or in the period year that is different from the global mapping, then definitely you need to come here and do the mappings over here if anything is different from global mappings. So this is the way that you need to manage the application mapping. Source mapping, in the sense you will be getting data from the source applications, like this is HFM, this is fine, target application, source application, and this is the EPM or file based or anything that you are getting. So whatever the data that you are getting from the source systems or EPMA or anything else, so then what you have to do is open interface. So you need to do, you are getting data from your source system, how you are going to manage that you need to tell. So say for example open interface. Open interface is the having the data in SQL, right? If you can see here, period and period num is there, right? So in this column, when you are identifying the data by using the batch name, I will let you know later on. But here, year, period, and period name, these are all your source values that you need to map to your target system, right? If your source system is open interface, and how the values are fetching from your source system, how should I recognize that? How should I get it, right? So for that, what you need to give is you need to tell GL calendar, GL year. GL year is nothing but your source year, and GL period, how you are getting your period member. If you are defining here, it is in characters, that should be fine. If you are not giving the characters, if you are saying like populating the data on this column as 10, then you need to tell the GL period is 10. If you are populating the data on this column as October, then definitely you can give it as October. So how you are populating the data on the period column, that information you are saying, because of source mapping, the source would be your open interface. Open interface is nothing but it's a table. So from where you are fetching the data, that table information you need to give. Here if you are populating the data, you can put it as 10, and you can give the calendar name, some calendar that you are giving. And here GL period number also, period number that I am giving as 10. Okay, so you are saying like this is October period. Just I am giving the description. So likewise, you are doing a source mapping. Here what we are doing is source mapping. For October period, the source will be GL period is 10 and GL period number is 10 and GL year is 2016 that I am fetching. Likewise, otherwise if you are giving like October over here, you are populating the data from October and you are populating the period number is 10 over here. Then you are saying like October GL period and GL period number. Period number is period num. This column. Period number is 10 for 2016. You are populating the data over there. So whenever you are fetching the data from your source system, that itself will be considering the data from your open interface adapter. Based on that, data will be fetching over there. Okay, fine. This is like period mappings. Period mapping should be there, which period that you are trying to load the data. That is fine. Again, you need to check about your category mapping. Category mapping is nothing but a scenario mapping. Here you are having global and application. Application level, if you want to give some mapping, then definitely you can give the application level mapping. So if you can click on here, it will be displayed all the target dimensions. Target dimensions is target application scenario member. If you are not having the proper interaction with your target application, then definitely obviously you will be getting the error. That means your FDME application is not associated with any one of the target application. Now you can see this application has been associated with the target application. So that reason, when I click on this class button and I can refresh members, I can able to see all my dimension numbers from uh, scenario dimension from the application. Okay, so if you want to give any other scenarios also, you can give simply budget scenario, target is budget. Likewise, you can give the mappings as many as you require. Okay, so once you do these mappings, thereafter the important one is like data load mappings. The important one is data load mappings. We need to import the mappings, or we need to create the mappings for each location, for each dimension, and you can use the location also as well. Say for example, I'm going to change B2 location which I have created. I don't have any mappings over here. Okay, I don't have any mappings over here. So each dimension should have their own mapping set. Say for example, you are seeing like data from your source target. If you are adding over here the source value and target value. Likewise, you need to provide the mappings for all the dimensional mappings for all the dimensions which we are having. Okay. Just I am doing importing the mappings for time being. I will be explain all of them one by one how we are going to do. Just for time being, I am going to import the mappings which are already been in my application. Okay. So how to import and export? See, if you are having bulk mappings, you are not going to do one by one. You are already having one of the file which is having the mappings, and I want to import all the mappings over there. So import all dimension mappings. So I have the format in .txt format which I am going to use for all mappings. Let me show you that one. Indiana all maps. So here I am having account mappings, I am having entity mappings and everything, ICP, UD1 and everything that I am having in this file itself only. Okay. So I am having Indiana center mapping. So center is nothing but it will be coming to in. So I will be having all the mappings in my mappings file. Just I would like to import this file into my mappings intersection. Okay. So while importing the data, how you want to import? Already the mappings are there in the application. You want to go with merge mode, then definitely go. Or else, whatever the mappings already existing in the application, you want to remove them or replace with others, you can go with replace. Validation. Validation in the sense already existing members and whatever the file that you are trying to load, both are to be validated. If you don't want to go for validate, you simply go with no validate. Execution mode. Execution mode in the sense, as I said, if you can put it as online, the system will be getting hanged unless until till that task is completed. If you can put it as offline, you can see in your process details. So check under the process details. Yeah, BT location. BT location, import all dimensions for importing all the data has been imported. BT location data has been imported. Okay. Check the data road mappings for BT location. So you are having the explicit mappings and everything that mappings are been imported. I will be explaining this one. All the mapping types that I will be explaining, not an issue. Just for now, what I'm trying to say is we have imported the mappings. The next step would be once you loaded the mappings and you are having all the mappings in your application, the next step would be you need to create the data load rule. Okay. Let us see data load rule, and I am creating the data load rule, which is used to create a data load rule. Is just you need to create data load rule and you can load the data from your source system to the target system by using the data load rule only. So here I am creating the data load rule. Category is actual and file type. Only now I am using the single period load only, and you need to take the import format, which import format that you are taking to load the data, and here you are giving your file name, which file name that you want to load. Just I would like to load Indiana GL file. Okay. Target options, like here you can see these are the HFM options only. Again I can say, so how you are going to load the data into HFM application, load method, replace or merge, what kind of data that you want to load. These custom options will be integration options that we can see later on. While doing the scripts itself we are going to use. So here Indiana GL CSV is there, that file. I am going to save this one. Once you save this one, this data load rule bin has been created. This data load rule represents the data file and single period and actual category, and you are trying to load the data for October period, and target application is BHF application that is going to be loaded. So now I am going to execute. Just what I am trying to do is just I am importing the source data, GL data which is there. Just I am going to import the data for October. Run. So check the process details. It is now importing the data. So data has been imported and transformed the data. Mean like imported and validation has been done. So where can I check the data has been imported and validated? Go and check in the data load workbench. In data load workbench, you can see BT location is our location, October, actual, and our rule file. Rule in the sense data load rule is BTL and source is file and target is BHFM. Right. So here you need to check your source has been imported data and validated. If you are having any issues over there in import format or data load rules, definitely you will not be seeing the goldfishes for import and validate step. Okay. Then the next step would be I would like to export the data into HFM application. Then execute here and you can export to target. And now I am exporting data into target application. So if it is getting failed, so where we need to check is check the log over there, why it is getting failed. Why it is getting failed? So here everything is fine, but why it is getting failed is there is some rejections. What are the rejections that it is having? 10. Here 10 is the data which is not a member in the target application. So if you see here itself 10, 10, 10, 10. So this all the 10 data is being like getting failed. That means where is that? That is nothing but a period. Period is getting failed. Here I am saying period is 10. 10 is the not valid member in your period dimension. Let us see your period dimension, how it is there in your target. Period mapping. Here itself target period month what we have given 8, 9, 10. But you need to give the period name is as October that you need to give. Then only system can understand your target member is having like October period. So let us try again and load the data how to fix that issue. So again execute for export. So these are the kind of issues that we are getting where we need to check and fix. So by seeing that one, by seeing this example, you need to know this is the data file for HFM application, right? Actual scenario, year, period, view, entity currency, account, recipe and all, right? Okay, but what it is saying no such number as 10 because of the mapping that I had given for 10 only. 10 is the nothing but October period. October period is nothing but in target application. Target application, there is a period dimension with the name of OCT. It's not yet 10. So that's the reason it is rejecting the data. There is no such number. Okay, there is rejections. And now we are getting issue. We'll see now which member that is not having. Now what the issue? This is only 10, 10, 10, 10. Let me check that one. It is not even saved it seems. Okay, application level mappings that we had given now. It's global mapping and application level mapping. So you can see the data has been loaded into target application. So the data load and the total everything has been done into target application. You can see this data into a target application also as well. But as I said, I mean like in the folder structure, if you can go and check the folder structure, there will be a file locations will be created, right? As I said. So in BHFM, there will be a locations if you can keep the option locations to be created where I can keep that one. So go to system settings. Here itself for the create location folder, if you can see here itself create location folder, keep it as yes, then each location will be created as a location. In the similar way when you go for the target application, there itself also this is application options. So application settings, if you can go here and you can create the create location folders and lock unlock and everything, you need to tell create location folder itself also, you need to give the option in file settings. If you can give it there itself, you can definitely have the file folder locations also will be created for each location anyway. So here we are doing the data load for Indiana GL. That file will be coming and sit into your folder location, BHFM application location, and your outbox will be having the data. Your outbox will be having the data while trying to load the data into the target application. Let me open this one. So you can see the data file. After converting into a data file, after converting this one into a data file, you will be having the data. In previous, we are having the rejections. These rejections due to this October data file that it's been created as this only. Yeah, it has been created as 10. 10 means there is no target dimension. October is the target dimension, period dimension. And here we are having the hard-coded value as center. Center is being mapped to in. That's what you are having the in data. If you can see the value dimension as entity currency, that it is having the entity currency. These are account, ICP, custom 1, custom 2, and the target total amount. So this is the data file will be created after validation before loading the data into the target HFM application. Okay. So the last step would be you can do this data load rule, and you can see the data load workbench and data exported has been done. There is no check option is required over there. If you are having some other things, that we can definitely see that. Okay. So this is the way that we can do the total process. Just simply I had given as overview. I mean, like how the data load process end to end. How many steps that we are having? Total 10 steps. Apart from that, some we need to know some of them are all there. I will explain all of them also, all of them. But now itself, what you need to do is for there are 10 steps to follow the data load. One is like creating the source system, creating the target system, and make sure that your import format is correct, and we will be always getting the file as delimited. But we have explained and we have discussed about only file based data load only. We haven't discussed about open interface. We will be seeing the open interface also, no worries. Okay. And location, you need to create the location. This location is having the import format of file based format. So the fixed delimited import format that we had taken, and thereafter you should have like period mapping and category mappings also you should require. And once you are ready with your period mapping and the category mapping, and definitely you should have the data load mappings for the target application which is having. It should have the all the mappings over there. Once you are having your mappings and everything is been ready, and you need to create the data load rule which is having the information about your file information and how you are going to load the data into the respective target application. Once you are having this file, and then you need to execute the data to export into a target application from source. So here you can do both of them at a time, import from source and export to target. So if you can do this one directly, it will be doing the information. If you will be doing like import the data from your source and validate and then export, all the steps will be done into a single step. In previous, I have taken two steps. One is from import and another one is export. But if you do both of them in a single step, then import from source and export to target. Import to transform is nothing but validating the data, and export is nothing but exporting the data into a target application. Okay. So once the data has been loaded, you can check that location and everything. The data has been loaded. So if you want to check this data, you can definitely log in into the HFM application, and we can see the data also over there. So here if you can see the options while exporting the data, you can see drill through to source, open source document, view mapping. This is about like view mappings in the sense whatever the mappings that we have used for the data, all about them it will be available. And if it is going to drill through, if you can give drill through, it will be working full. Otherwise it will not be working drill through. Where we can give this drill through option for file format. So here you can see the drill through option. So where the file is existed, that file name you need to give it over there. So then only the file will be moving to the drill through. Otherwise it will not be navigated. Open interface also. You need to give the drill through options over there, so that it will be fetching the data from that respective location for drill through option. Okay. So this is a way that we can manage the data load, and we need to discuss about data load mappings. I mean, like what are the mappings that we are having and all. and thereafter we can start the data loading process for open interface. Before going to open interface, we need to start discussing about the ODI process also. Okay, these are all we can see in the next session. And today I'm going to stop for here. So what are the next steps would be is total your mappings will be explained. Let me open that. Data load mappings. This chapter I will be explaining like data load mappings. This is important one, how you are going to do the mappings and all. Once this is done, data load mappings, execution rules that I have explained, but I will be explaining again more detailed data load rules, how we are going to create the data load rules, how we are going to use. And then multi-period load, that is one part that I need to explain. The pending topics mean multi-period loading. Then open it ODI will be started by next week. I mean like ODI, how we need to create the logical schema, physical schema, and everything that I will be explaining in ODI. Once that is done, then only I will come to you like open interface. Open interface data loading and all we will be seeing it. By once our ODI session is completed, then we can start the open interface data loading. Once that is done, then we will be having like these are the functions like batch execution, report execution, script execution. These are three are the pending one from there. So we have seen almost all. This script designing will be associated with script designing with script execution, and this query definition and report definition will be associated with report definition and batch execution. Batch execution is nothing but open batch is there, one of the function we are having, open batch execution, open batch data loading, that will be explaining in the open data execution. So almost all another 5 hours to 6 hours, 5 to 6 hours are required to complete the FDME session. I mean it almost 6 to